Engineering report?
As required by the Open Public Meetings Act, 1975, adequate notice of meeting was provided on January 12, 2023, by publication of notice and express time for Huntington Democrat, and the instant of said notice and were going on the same date. Mayor Barsney?
Here.
Mr. Baylor?
Here.
Mr. Bean?
Here.
Mr. Kenneth?
Here.
Ms. McDermott? Here. Mr. Labor?
Yes, here.
Mr. Pennell?
Here, stand for flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. I'm going to turn this part of the meeting over to the Deputy Mayor Beam for a proclamation of the Grange. Something we're all thankful for, but I know it's a little closer, I guess, to Paul's heart.
So, the Grange is celebrating their 125th anniversary in our community today. So we're going to read a proclamation with just pertinent information, and then I'll add some to it at the end. But the proclamation states, whereas the Grange strengthens individuals, families, and communities through grassroots action, service, education, advocacy, and agricultural awareness, and whereas the Grange has played a major role in the development of rural America and the passage of important legislation during 3 centuries. And whereas the Stewartsville Grange 121 organized at the Oddfellow Hall at the Crossroads in Stewartsville, New Jersey on February 26, 1897. Whereas on April 10, 1919, the Grange reorganized and the Fellow Hall was rented for $50 a year. Whereas during the 1920s, many people joined the Grange and attended bi-monthly meeting. Dues were raised in 1922 to 12 cents. Whereas in the 1930s, the Grange participated in the Stewartsville Memorial Day Parade and supported the Halloween Parade with donations. And whereas in the 1940s, the Grange members voted to purchase the Oddfellows Hall and hosted a food stand at the Warren County Fair for the first time, with a net profit of $125. Whereas in the 1950s, work at the farm sales and dinners made it possible to hold a mortgage burning ceremony and to purchase lumber for a new farm stand at the fairgrounds. And whereas in 1968, the Grange celebrated their 70th anniversary, and whereas in 1977, a motion is passed to sell the Grange Hall. Whereas in 1981, the Grange began to make annual donations to the fire company and rescue squad. And whereas in 1997, the Grange celebrated their 100th anniversary. Whereas in 2023, the Grange continues to make donations to local organizations, including the fire company, the rescue squad, Norwest Cap, food banks, and Toys for Tots. And whereas originally the Grange was an organization of families, today it embraces urban and rural members with a strong agricultural interest. Whereas the Grange members in Stewartsville and everywhere wish to celebrate and express their pride in the legacy of their highly respected organization. Now therefore be resolved, the mayor and the township committee of the Township of Greenwich do hereby proclaim January 2023 as Grange Month and encourage the participation of the residents of the Township of Greenwich in a celebration of the Grange past and future. So with that, there's just a couple of other little tidbits that everybody might find interesting. Besides doing that, they held their first corn, fruit, and flower show was held in 1931. In 1993, the Grange, with Cindy's representing them here tonight, started their blood drive. Their meetings are currently being held at the Stewartsville Presbyterian Church. In 2000, they had promoted a backpack program for the Stewartsville School. In 2009, they had purchased FFA jackets for the Phillipsburg High School students and have helped the FFA in a few ventures in getting students to go to Africa and miscellaneous other places. So the Grange is a very important part of our community, and as such, they need to be recognized for it. So. And on a side note, Cindy Hamlin, who is the Grange president, is what's your official title? Is a 3rd generation farmer here in Greenwich Township. Her family's been farming. Her grandfather, her father, and her brothers are currently farming. in the township. Thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank
Sandy. Thanks for helping keep it green. It's staying green.
Yeah.
Looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of December 15th and the regular meeting at January 7th. Anybody want to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Anybody have any corrections, redactions, deletions? Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yeah.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yeah.
Ms. McDermott? Yes.
Looking for a motion to accept the treasurer's report and the December bill list. Anybody want to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Anybody have any questions? Need anything pulled?
No, Bill, did you get a chance to review the IT stuff?
I'm still working on it.
Okay, you got it.
Anything else? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott? Yes.
I make a motion, we accept the tax collectors, tax and sewer reports for December 2022. Anybody want a second?
A second.
Anybody have any questions, comments on the reports? Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott? Yes.
Police Department, Rich, you have anything you wanna?
Yes.
Was there any questions regarding the police report? But I guess I'll just read a couple of numbers, B and C. End of year report. We ended the year with 14,620 calls, incidents to the department. 134 adult arrests, 7 drunk driving arrests. Summonses 1,654. And that is about 20% increase in call volume from the previous year. And about 20% increase in summonses, and the arrests were about the same as the previous year. Of those summonses, there's about 534 were truck traffic enforcement. And with the truck posts in town, there was approximately 1,616 truck posts run. And were there any questions regarding the monthly report?
Rich, I see domestic incidents / assaults went up quite a bit. I mean, it's only 57, but the prior year we had 40. That's still a good percentage increase. But other than that, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, other than that, it's all about close to the previous year, with the exception of firearms, which of course just skyrocketed in every department. We had between permits or right to carry for the ID cards, we had 133 in 2021. We have 162 in 2022. So I'd say you have a pretty good increase.
Has anybody been approved?
I
right to carry?
believe, yes, so the regulations with that got changed several times, and there was 2 that the Superior Court judge approved before the recent change on December 22nd, which now places it with the Superior Court judge to approve to now the chief of police to approve these carry permits. However, the restrictions changed, and they're gonna change again in July 1st, and they're gonna get even more strict, so.
Let me ask something, Chief. How many, have you made many illegal handgun possessions this year? People with, unlicensed guns and unlicensed having in the cars.
We had one recent arrest for a handgun out of a motor vehicle, which but are you saying with?
No, well, really where I'm going with it is, when that arrest is made, are they like no bailing them and letting those people out right away?
For possession?
Possessions, yeah.
With ours, they didn't, they're no bail, and they're keeping them. Anything else anyone's arrested for, we're pretty much re-releasing them, yeah.
Well, I just want to know because they're given legal handgun possession. People want to own a gun who've done nothing wrong, a hard time to have a gun. And I've been reading the papers where they're letting people out with no bail for illegally possessing a gun. It seems absolutely ridiculous, so.
Yeah,
That's all that was what I was trying to find out.
I mean, the cases that we've dealt with
Yeah.
were actually involved, either involved in an armed robbery, so it's a little bit different than the simple possession, which
Yeah,
we don't get too much of, but I can definitely see, yes, that release, because there's not a lot of people being kept in jail. Catch and release.
stuff like that, you know.
And I just had a couple things I didn't know if I should wait, should I give it with my, along with my report here with the truck traffic meeting and requesting to put Ross Nagels, they did put in an application for their towing, so putting them on the towing roster. Did you want me to go over the truck traffic thing, the meeting that I recently attended with the county commissioner? Wait,
Yeah, you could do it.
Okay. I attended that with Second Sergeant McLaughlin and Joe was there, representing the DPW, the township. It was at the commissioner's building there in Belvedere, given by the Commissioner Sarnowski, and basically that meeting was for, it's not something for the law enforcement side of it, it was for the committees of the surrounding, or the towns of Warren County. And the meeting was regarding what to do with this truck situation. And they had, I guess one of the ideas is putting a no 102 truck signs, making all the county roads that. However, to do that for all the county roads is actually not really, I mean, I don't think that's gonna be possible, so it's gonna kind of have to boil down to what are the main county roads that are being affected to place that signage or restriction on. So there's a meeting that's scheduled for Monday with Commissioner Kern with the police department chiefs to, I guess, address these roads, which that meeting is gonna consist of the south end, because that's a south end of the county is the biggest one being hit with this truck problem. So, and then we'll go from there. Their goal is to, once we come up with some roads to do that to, then presenting it to each township so they can support that and pass, I guess it will be a resolution to support that, and then they'll move from there. We're not, the south end of Warren County is not the only one that's being affected by truck traffic. However, I think it's the most substantial impact is in our area. So I guess there'll be more to come after Monday's meeting, and I'll keep you apprised of that. And I believe that was that's about it.
Do we need to do a motion for the towing?
We should add them.
Sure. Okay.
And Chief, with the 102, I mean, obviously you said all the county roads, but it really can't be, because there's gotta be truck routes regardless. Correct, so-
There's certain areas that have to be.
But the ones that I'm gonna assume are already weight restricted is probably where that's gonna take place?
Probably that's what I assume, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right,
what I would basically request, like,
and-
for instance, our two roads that are heavily affected is Warren Glen Road and 637. We actually have the signage on Greenwood Street already. I don't know if they know that or whatnot, because I guess the one thing about this meeting was when there was a big push to have this 102 on county roads, Hunterdon County and Sussex County had gotten this, but Warren County didn't. So they're re-exploring.
Is 102 gonna carry a bigger fine other than disobeying signage?
It would be the same, we write the same statute for it. They also discussed what we had talked about, or I guess what I had spoken about, maybe not at a meeting, but the whole change in signage with the gross vehicle weight. They're looking at doing that as well. But that's also, I guess, going to be discussed in this meeting on Monday, because to replace all the county roads with that signage is, I have no idea how you do that. Where that money would come from, it's just be crazy. So we're gonna look at the roads that are most affected first, and then we can go from there. And as for the overtime report, were there any questions? Overtime is less, and then as looking at my budget, it came in right about on budget with what was predicted. I believe it's around 143 and budget 140 or so.
I hear the new officer's working out well.
Yes, so he was the officer that stopped that vehicle with the loaded firearm in it. That was a couple weeks after being on his own from field training. He's got a very good traffic enforcement ethic, stopping a lot of vehicles, writing a lot of tickets, and last night we had a pretty involved credit card fraud case that we're working on the Bourbon Street Liquors here in town. And that involved the seizure of a car right now and multiple cell phones, so we'll see where that goes. But yes, excellent hire, and I'm very happy with him.
I guess we need a motion to make the addition to the towing roster. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call,
Mayor Barsney?
recuse?
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott? Yes.
Okay. Joe? DPW?
Just a couple things on my report. I was just looking here at my leaf collection. I gave you the previous years, but I didn't give you 2022's. We collected this year 892 cubic yards of leaves. That's up from the 2021 of 611 and 2020 752 yards. So cubic yards. So it keeps increasing here through the year and stuff, as we keep continuing to do it. And really about the only other thing was the DPW was able to take liberties of the fair weather through December, and we got 2 of the baseball fields prepped with the new infield mix and stuff out at the elementary school. So we're able to get some of that work done, and then just basic maintenance and stuff for the equipment and stuff.
They look great, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Lisa, Township Clerk's report, you have anything you want to add or say?
Just unfortunately, I haven't heard back yet from Randy May with our insurance and any update as to whether we can expect a reduction in that pretty significant increase that we saw in our assessment due to those vehicles being on our list that shouldn't have been. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Okay.
And I guess this is time to do a little housekeeping with her notes on the agricultural land leases. That all the 2023 land lease payments and certificates have been received. We also we've provided the Friskowski Farms with a letter the last 2 years, which they need to give to Fish, Game and Wildlife so that they can control the deer population on their farm that they're leasing from us. And they're asking it again because it hasn't been done on a yearly basis. But I thought this time around we could address it because the leases are now for 5 years.
We're
And
not
if
on
we
that
could,
5-year cycle yet, but we could do it to the end of the term.
to the end of the term,
Mhm.
if that would be all right. Lisa and I thought the whole TC should be aware of it. Mike, good?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just our.
Do we need a
approving
motion
them
for
applying
something like this then,
permits.
or?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion to provide the Friskowski Farms with the information they need for New Jersey Fish, Game and Wildlife in order to manage the deer population.
Second.
Any questions, comments on it? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yeah.
Mr. Beam?
Yeah.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yeah.
Ms. McDermott? Yes.
Lisa, anything on the dioxin contamination? Anything new on that?
I mean, honestly, the ball is kind of in our court right now. We would have to discuss how we could possibly attempt to, front the money. Yeah, so that's where we still are. We should probably,
Any suggestions, Mike?
So DEP wants us to front the money and they'll reimburse it. That's the caveat of this.
And we really don't know the true cost, right, Mike? I mean, that 800,000 was floated, and I mean.
No, well, the way it works, they have a very simple spreadsheet that you fill in quantities and they have established costs. and that becomes the number of what the grant will be. And it's, it's not conservative, I'll put it that way, so. Their numbers are actually on the high side, so and again, I'll just, because as I said, we're doing it in Franklin and we're certainly a lot further ahead and it's a lot bigger project too.
Right.
And, with the amount of money that grant in Franklin, what they have, I can't imagine any way that the project won't be fully covered. I mean, it's a very healthy sum of money. And that would include, obviously, soft costs and of course, construction costs.
Right.
The very interesting part of this, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, is the one property in the township, and it's in a very remote area. And to get it there, we looked at Aqua versus New Jersey American,
Right.
and clearly it makes no sense whatsoever to forget about the contract we have with Aqua to be the water purveyor in Greenwich. It doesn't make any sense to even consider New Jersey American because there's a lot more money, it's a lot further. So I mean, the next step, I think, is to basically, and Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're obviously more involved with this than I am.
We have resolutions and ordinances to adopt, but without a
Yeah.
funding source. That's our problem.
So, I mean, we can't have this hanging around, we gotta come up with how we're gonna fund it, and how long is it gonna take to get our money back? If
Well, the
we wanna
thing
get our money back.
with these grants or the DEP or however you wanna say it, the reimbursements, we are allowed to or able to submit sort of periodically throughout, so hopefully we can get some money back over time. But if we're gonna have to bond, you bond for the whole amount anyway, so you know what I mean, it's a.
So I guess we're gonna need that, if we're gonna bond for it. We're gonna have to get John Mooney or the
John
bond,
Drakowitz,
we're gonna have to include their numbers in the administrative costs
correct,
of the grant also, too, right?
correct.
Think it's gonna cover that too, Mike? Yes.
I have no idea what John Drakewitz's bills are, so I mean, I
I think with most of this, there's kind of like a flat fee, we can anticipate to pay, I mean, I can pin him down on that.
Well, I was gonna say, I think that's
We were kind of waiting to get through the process with the existing bond, and then we were gonna. talk
Right,
about it
well,
further, But,
since we've got like 5 budget
Yeah.
meetings coming up,
exactly,
if we could get that information, just so we have.
I can't believe all the stuff that the state gets involved in, and something this serious, they get their hands off.
yeah,
It's unbelievable.
and they even said, like we're
There's a
guessing.
homeless encampment in this front yard, they're having water and sewer there in a week.
She did promise that if the cost got more because you ran into something along the way, that it's sort of, this estimate that we put in, it's a baseline, they can expand it, but, the problem is they won't just pay for it. I said, why can't they pay the contractor?
Right.
There we are.
I mean, that to me is what the purpose of bigger government is, the state compared to a municipality. If they were a citizen who has that type of a problem, and to throw it back. I don't know, that's what I always viewed as the state and federal government for, is to take care of problems that local can't handle, and they get involved in every other aspect of our lives, and then when they're really needed, they walk away. And I'm done. Okay, well, you have anything on the zoning, code enforcement?
No, there's a nice little breakdown of what Jeff's been doing and working on.
Yep.
So that's a positive. We're gonna see that there's a bunch out there on 57. Maybe we can make that byway scenic. That's only a maybe.
How about the court? You have anything you want to add to the court report?
No.
Okay. ACO report speaks for itself, I guess. Anybody will make a motion to accept the consent agenda, Police Department report, DPW report, Township Clerk's report, zoning and code enforcement report, court report, and the ACO report.
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second? Anybody have further questions, comments on any of those? Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott? Yes.
Committee reports. Lily, do you have anything to report?
I don't know.
Phil?
The school had, re-elected Beth as the president and, vice president, it wasn't Kevin, but
Scott knows.
Scott Notes is the new vice president, and they swore in the 2 new members, so, I guess I'll be there next Wednesday. So,
Vicky, you're back as our liaison?
Yes,
We're glad to see that. You're always
Right.
welcome. We're always a pleasant face to see in the audience, so.
also, we also moved to a board of committees, back to that. We used to do that a long time ago, and then we went to a board of the whole. Now we're back to committees. We changed our meeting time from 7 to 6:30. Lisa, you have that, right?
I do.
Just checking. And FYI, on your website, it says your meeting is 7:30.
Wow.
Okay.
Also,
Can't be.
there's on the school website, and I believe it's now on yours, the distribution list. Because we're trying to get the community, more involved, be more transparent, even for those, especially as a way to reach people who do not have kids in the district. There's a distribution list, so once a month, you will receive a newsletter of, important happenings, like, when the budget meeting is coming up, which will be probably sometime in late February, or we'll have to do a special meeting possibly in March, because our budget is due to the county superintendent. But there's also, right now, there is a budget survey. We're trying to find out, what budgetary concerns the community has, so that we can include that in our thought process as we're going through and developing our budget for next year. So anybody can just go to the website, and if you click on the distribution list, you don't have to add yourself to the distribution list, but once you open that up, the budget survey also opens up. And it only asks, I believe, for your email, I think. So people have been giving their thoughts on what they think we should prioritize as our budget concerns. And we're really taking that into account.
Thanks, Vicky. Again, welcome back for the year.
Thank you.
Bill, that's it.
that's it.
Yeah, we have, I don't know if you have it in your packet, the athletic field pavilion and court scheduling guide. Open space and the recreation committee met throughout last year and came up with some new language they want to change for the rentals, and added, for example, the basketball courts in the back for a rental. But this is the guide they would like to use.
Yeah, I don't have that. No.
You do. It was.
Oh, it's in,
There it is.
thank you.
So did you get one? Okay.
No, I don't have that, Lisa. You do. I promise.
The highlighted areas would you want to change?
Yeah. There's also, some wording that's.
I'll give you another one. Put them out too.
Here, you can take one.
I got it. I'm sorry.
I think this would streamline it and make it a little bit easier. Lisa can then, when people are calling in, look at it.
So the only other thing that I want to just mention about it is that we've had this issue for the last couple of years with what teams should be exempted and all of that. So what I had requested, like, be as an addendum to this, that Jeremy was gonna get to me is a specific list of the teams that should be exempted, so that Tammy and I aren't trying to figure, sometimes they refer to a team one way or another way, it would just. That way we know exactly who is permitted to be exempted.
Yeah, I can help you with that too.
Yeah, so when we get that list finalized, we'll just bring it back to the committee so you guys are aware and Tammy and I both know
Yeah,
what to do with that. But
You want us to do,
we can,
but this.
I mean, we're not gonna be running anything anytime soon. We can, if you wanna look at it or if you wanna.
Do you need to look at it, Mike, to make sure it doesn't conflict with any other parts of it? I don't think it's a big deal, but. All right, yeah, I don't wanna.
Yeah, I mean.
I tried to do the same thing when Jeremy brought it in. I said, we just have to make sure it's not
Doesn't conflict with-
inconsistent with the
yeah.
ordinance. Change one or the other, so I don't think it's urgent to do it tonight.
Yeah,
Nobody,
yeah, that's,
you know,
I want to
not
look
gonna
at
argue.
it.
Michael, you just look at it, let us know for next month.
And we're not ready to have basketball courts sometime soon.
Right.
Well, while you're on that, we really,
Yeah, so bringing up the basketball courts, Mike, were you on those emails about,
But
what we're gonna be doing?
UPA,
Yeah. So
I got a call at him and he has not returned my call, so, I wanna see, Mike, can we appoint him as a QPA just for the month of January or for the month of February and,
Can appoint a person as a QPA as long as you want.
okay.
did we
Well,
ever?
that was gonna be my offer to him, just we'll
Yeah.
appoint you to the end of January, obviously, he
Yeah.
hasn't gotten back to me, so,
And we have the wording so he knows he doesn't have to sign off on all of our bills list.
well, that's still.
Maybe we'll go to executive for
Okay.
5 minutes. We'll take.
Yeah, we're gonna go this way.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess we can't do anything.
the other thing is that I was thinking by summer, is there enough money in open space account maybe to get lights on the basketball courts out here? So maybe the adults can get a summer league going, maybe bring up next open space game, that's it.
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm not saying we do, but maybe somebody's ought to review, because, we built that saying that it was probably gonna be for
Right.
adults as well.
Right.
And obviously adults are gonna have to use it in the evening.
And Joe, you said you were gonna look at that eventually, right?
What's that?
About putting
Lights out back
on
with
the
the
building.
basketball court.
Well, it likes to play, use it to play,
Yeah,
you might have to go all the way around, you just can't put them on one
Yeah,
side of the
right,
building because of
That's what I mean.
shadows.
But it'll save money if we put it on.
You can use the building for part of it, but you
Yeah.
still gotta go down either the sides and the other side to eliminate shadows.
I'm just saying, that the open space, maybe you should start talking about it.
Yeah, okay.
I have no objection to that, you know.
I guess then the painting will go in executive and then,
Right.
okay. That was it. Right now we have lacrosse registrations for rec that are open, baseball. And softball should be opening up soon with also spring soccer. I think it has the registrations opened up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Paul, you have anything?
I have nothing at this point.
Professionals, Mike, Finelli.
Just a couple quick things, Rick Line Hill Road, section 2, done. We're pretty pleased with how it came out, it kind of solved a little drainage problem. Joe, you've witnessed that on a couple of occasions, seems like it's working well. Yeah, so that was very good. I think from a budget standpoint, we're pretty much right on target from our original estimates, so we're just wrapping that up. Shannon, did you see the email from Donna from our office about you have to sign the certification form? Or did she send it to you or she sent it to both of you?
When did she send?
I think, I'll check.
I don't think I got it.
I think, okay, I'll check with her tomorrow. She, that's just the final submittal to the state, so we can get the balance of our money. Okay. Secondly, on the same vein with the DOT grants, I gave out an estimate last month on Beatty's Road. Now, what last month showed was, where is it now? Was there was a significant shortfall. But the estimate that we did was based upon co-op pricing that we estimated, because the co-op prices weren't released yet. Well, I'm happy to report that the shortfall now was significantly decreased from 148,000 to 60,000, and now it's still $60,000 shortfall. So it's still a tangible sum of money, but it's it's not something ridiculous like 148 is. That we're obviously not gonna consider doing the project, we're 150 in a hole. So I would just say, and I gave Shannon and Lisa and everybody a copy of the estimate. It's based upon the bid pricing that we received from the co-op. So, take a look at it, and I guess during your budget discussions, you can try to figure out what you might want to do for Beatty's Road. And that would be all I have.
Actually, Mike, we have to do something else too for the land use board. I wasn't really adequately able to tell Lisa what we needed on the agenda, but, you have to be able to, we need somebody to approve certain things that are in compliance with the Highland.
Oh, the Highlands, the local exemption, certification.
Right, so
Right.
would you fill us in on all of that?
Okay, sure. All right, with the Highlands, rules and regs and applications. If you're, non-compliant, you need to make an application to the Highlands, or it's called an HPAA, Highlands Preservation Area Acceptance. Now, what they have done is they have allowed, there are 17 exemptions that are allowed through the Highlands Act that relates to grandfathering for ownership from a certain time and a number of various things. Okay, there is a program that I went and was certified through for there to be a local individual in the township that can grant these exceptions directly. And it eliminates the need for whomever, the applicant, to have to go to the Highlands. Now, there's 5 exemptions that are allowed to be done at the local level. And then there's the other 12 out of the 17 total that have to go to Highlands. So, what came up at the land use board meeting was that Greenwich doesn't have anybody that has been appointed as this local exemption certification official, is what it's called. So being that I have the license, I guess, or the certification, I think, well, Paul, you can chime in, please, that it seems like it would make sense for you guys to appoint me to this position. It's, I can tell you I do it in 2 other towns. There's maybe 1 a year. It doesn't happen that often. But it's convenient and very helpful if it's required. So.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
question to it though is, we've never opted into the Highlands, but we're still under certain Highlands rules regardless of the situation.
Oh, the preservation area, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
But our 2 areas of preservation are significantly small.
they are. Yes, they are.
And what we were talking about in the land use board, that's not in the preservation area.
No, it's not.
I mean, we have a small piece on the northeast side of Rickline Hill. And then we have a small piece on the southeast side on Warren Glen Bloomsbury Road. They're the only 2 pieces that we actually have in Highland Preservation.
Correct.
So how did the conversation end up and I understand what you need to do, but how did we end up with Attorney Drill wanting us to appoint somebody that's able to do this?
Well, because I think it's
It's just
Just-
house
it's just,
cleaning, formality?
if you have somebody that's qualified, I think, and I haven't talked to John about this, but I think his thinking was you should do it because it's available and it's helpful, and what's the downside? I mean, there's no fee, there's no cost to you guys,
Okay.
I mean. And again, it happens. It's very infrequent.
Okay, alright. So I guess then we need to make a motion to appoint Mike as the official Highlands overseer for exemptions?
The local Highlands exemption certification is what I provide.
Do you make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Anybody have any further questions?
Do you have any, does everybody kind of get this?
I don't get it. I totally get it. I don't understand why you would have to exempt a property that's not in the preservation area. Like, why would there be a review for exemption for a property?
Well, there may not be, but
No.
it came up in conversation.
Who said there was?
Okay, good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, this
I
is,
talked about this the other day. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me.
no,
Okay,
you're right.
good.
Right. Well, it's just that it got mentioned and
yeah.
there was a lot going on that meeting, so,
Yeah,
but I know that.
Yeah.
John thought it was a necessary thing that we move forward to. And Mike's already doing it in a couple of communities. And again,
We'll probably never.
it
know.
doesn't cost us no harm, no foul.
Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Anything else for Mike? Mike Laver, you have anything you can say in public?
Just for executive.
Old business. That's a bill.
Did we pay the aqua bill? You
There'll be
know?
other old business, right?
We did not.
That's what we're coming up on it right now, old business.
Okay. Did I'm jumping, okay.
Good.
Oh, okay, so, Joe, did you see the letter from aqua?
Yes,
And,
they called me.
okay, so, the valves are checked, they're operational, hydrants have all been inspected. Does that mean we can use the hydrants now to fight a fire, or are you still gonna?
I talked to
He's
her
really getting
foreman,
pressure right now.
they found the valve shut,
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask,
they found the.
what
valve
was,
shut.
right,
But I haven't gotten a chance to go up and check it because of the weather.
Right.
Temperatures and stuff, but they found the valve.
Are they charging us for the months that the valve was shut though? I mean, should we have to pay for the months? that-
Well, it still had water.
That's like you were arguing the pressure at that point, right?
It was a firefighting issue with not.
Well, that at least makes some sense now, that as to how, when I heard that those hydrants didn't work, I'm like,
But aren't we
oh
paying
my
for
God.
fire hydrants?
That was our assumption.
Mike Lavery, aren't we paying for fire hydrants that have adequate fire protection pressure? And if
You would
it
think
doesn't
you
have
would.
it, why are we paying for it? So I don't see how they can charge us the full amount when we went for months without adequate fire protection.
Years.
Completely agree.
Years.
yeah,
Completely agree.
right.
So I think they gotta make an adjustment there.
Could've been
They're
divided.
charging us for a service that they didn't provide.
And in theory, we paid it at least, what, maybe one full year, if not two?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Right.
Well, at least one full year.
At least one.
We didn't have it.
So,
And in Bloomsbury, we have now
I think we have another conversation with them.
redacted paying for one because it was.
How many
bad
did that
for 6
affect,
months,
Bill?
So now we're not paying.
How many hydrants?
One-
18 of them,
How many?
out of 100, and
Yeah, I mean,
prior to that, we had 166 hydrants, so we have an additional 18.
well,
So we paid the 166.
Yeah, go on the mountain, find out how much each hydrant.
but even that,
Yeah.
we were paying them for 100% protection. They weren't getting 100% protection. That's what they're charging us for, regardless of the number of hydrants. But
Right.
that's how I view it.
I agree.
So are we putting it back in Mike's lap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
I find it interesting that they sent the letter saying that they've now fixed everything, but they didn't note about the valve not working.
Yeah.
They
They
didn't
didn't
go that,
have that.
they didn't put that in writing, so.
Very interesting.
Okay. Any other old business anybody wants to bring up? Any new business anybody has anything? And we're looking for a motion to adopt resolution 2223 as the appointment of a redactor pursuant to Daniel's law. That's the law that allows redaction of certain names, addresses of public officials and superior court judges, I think municipal court judges, law enforcement in there. There was all the judge's son who was shot at her home a couple of years ago down in one of the Brunswicks, yeah. Resolution 2223 is a Comcast right-of-way resolution. Mike, what's that really?
That's the one where there were some concerns about them ripping up people's lawns, so the resolution, we changed it to say that if they're going to have to do any digging, that they're gonna have to come back to the township committee.
Resolution 2423 is a resolution granting approval of the cost share purchase of a development easement of the Greenwich Township acreage formerly known as O'Dowd South, which is short-term is set to run for parking at the Stecker Field.
Yes, right.
Resolution 2523 is the NJDCA grant application for improvements to Stecker Field Park. That's what Frank Pinto is working on. Just trying to get some money for upgrades to that park, right?
Correct.
And, well, that's it. So I'm looking for a motion to adopt 22, 23, 23, 23, 24, 23, and 25, 23. Anyone make a motion?
Right, real quick, Mike, the Comcast, is that only if we settle with them, or are they gonna do that even if? we
That-
settle?
No, that's only for the high-speed internet line. That's
Okay.
not the cable.
Okay,
So the cable is separate.
all right, cool. All right, thank you.
Sure.
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want to second the motion?
I'll second.
Any other further comments, questions? Lisa?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yeah.
Ms. McDermott?
Yeah.
Looking for a motion to introduce ordinance number 101, 2023, which is a flood damage prevention ordinance. That's something we have to do by code, Mike, I guess?
Yes.
Every year? Okay. Flood damage prevention ordinance. Anybody want to make the motion to introduce that ordinance?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments, discussion on it? Lisa?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
That ordinance, Bob, not, excuse me,
Alright.
it's across the state that this is being updated for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
School resource
Yes.
officer.
I submitted the basically to change into the order into the federal government system, so I am awaiting their response.
New facility update. Joe, you have anything?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot. As you see here, we had our meeting with the architect today, sample colors, roof stuff. We're at that time that we gotta make decisions on these. We wanted to see, show the committee some of the exterior colors available. A lot of things need to move forward with this. This here is our bid package, which would be going out to the bidders. It's 90% or 96% full. There's, like I said, there were some things need to be filled out, and I'm gonna refer to Lisa and Rich. They were there because I might have forgot some things. He talked about a prevailing wage scale. Was that correct, Lisa? that you were
Yeah,
gonna
we
look
talked about it,
into?
Mike and I talked about it. We're
Okay,
gonna get
very
in there.
good, because he ain't privy to that. So he's got that to do. We need to have the colors all in place and stuff and added to this for the bid package. And the other question is when does the committee want to put this out to bid? It could be ready to go by the end of the month, beginning of February. On the engineer side, I've had a couple lengthy conversations with the engineer, and Warren County's being Warren County. He's working on, I told him I need an itemized quote on all the kickbacks that the county is requesting from.
Kickbacks is a bad word.
Feel it in the seat of my pants, it's a kickback. Point blank, they want our engineer, this and that, to do all the elevations in front of the property on the county road. They want the town to pay for them.
what do you mean, Joe, when you say all the elevations?
They want him to do 50-foot increments of the street.
Oh,
Greenwich
okay,
Street.
they want,
in
yeah, they
front
want
of-
sections across the whole strip.
Absolutely. Maybe that's where the politics might have to come in, please, or maybe talk to someone. But there's a list of things from them that they need to talk to. Like I said, I'm just trying to hit on a lot of those things. That's all gotta be part of the spec, and finalizing with them. One positive thing, we got approval from the Upper Delaware Valley Soil Conservation. We gotta go, and we're just waiting on the county review. Also, the county highly recommended that our stormwater person, Mike, review our plan and to submit a letter. And they also highly recommended to put it, have the land use board take a look at the plan. Along with that, so we need to get that taken care of, work with Mike and get that plan to him. And like I said, there's a few other things. They had questions about the driveway approach. I got a copy of the water map for the water main in front of the building to put on the plans from there. But what we need to do is approve these colors, get them to Denny, get this wrapped up and ready to go to bid. And when the committee wants to do this.
Did we talk about the color gray, or we wanted it to be similar to what the,
That's what we talked about. And
That's what's out
right
there.
here's the samples. This is the roof and if you want to call the trim color
Right.
of Thomas Stewart Park. And then all the other colors he took. This is actually the facade sample on the concession stand. And we also did the sign with this.
Right.
All right, and this here would be the exterior, the rest of the exterior of the building. So this would be from the ground up 2-3 foot. I forget what they call that. And this would be the exterior of the building, and this would be on it as, it would look like weatherboard. So it would actually go like this and overlap the rest of the building. This is like a fiber poly. It can be painted to whatever color you want and things like that. So these are the colors of Thomas Stewart Park right now. So the roof and then the down below and this.
okay. Anybody have any questions on it?
And then there's other samples here of some of the interior floors of the municipal hall, police department, doors. We've seen colors. That's what all these boxes are. Everybody's gone through them, I think, about a dozen times. Wall coverings, even a sample of, and I don't know if this is also the restrooms floor of police also.
I think so, right?
Police also, and also your Sally Port, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, and then the fire department picked an epoxy floor for the station
Right.
and also epoxy for our halls and office.
Mhm.
All one epoxy for the administrative office section, and then just what most fire departments do, where big red trucks sit is red and gray alleys, throw and stuff like that.
Joe, you mentioned a sign. Do you have electricity going to the street?
We talked about that, Bill. We said, this is Bill Kenyoff. We're gonna put your name on this sign right there. Because Bill
I'll be
Kenyoff
more than
said
happy
to
to
put this.
do the updates.
No, we just had a discussion about that and the fire company, when we were doing this, we had JHM Signs come out and give us an idea. So we gave Denny those sizes and stuff, and it would have he would put the pillars there and everything. You know, we talked about flagpoles, how high, what the lighting, all that's there. He's filling those gaps in there with that hardware for the doors. It's unbelievable. That's why this package is what it is. And a third of it is Mike has to look at, what he has.
He's got his stuff.
I got my third.
So that's it, but like I said, we really do have to make these decisions, need the committee to get ready to, when you want to put this out to bid and move forward with their.
Does it have to go to the land use board before it goes out to bid? The
No,
county
but
wants that?
I think that's a gentleman's thing, but we do need, probably should get the stormwater stuff to Mike, authorize him to take a look at it and approve it or whatever.
Is that-
comment.
And they do have like a cursory review because it's a
Yes.
capital project, so
Yeah.
it does
But-
have to get out.
Relative to the stormwater, is that a condition of the county review right now? That you get the
I
local
believe so. I
stormwater
can
management?
I
Okay.
could recheck with them, but I believe that was one.
Fine, I mean, I can work with Tom Pugsley on that, yeah, so.
And Vicky, we need that sign up to get the school announcements on that board as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No other questions?
No.
I did give the fire department financials and I'll be blunt there. There's 3 bills at the bottom. Fire company cover one, but we do not have the funds to cover the rest from here on out.
What are those 2 that are the young architect bills due?
What's that?
When are they due? Or are they past due?
Yeah, but I've been holding them for about 3-4 weeks right now.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Fire hydrants, we already discussed. The chickens, residential trash pickup. What went down there? You call?
That me, the chicken conversation is just that, a conversation. I do know that our zoning officer is about to run into a couple of situations with chickens. And they are prohibited by ordinance unless you have 5 acres and 150 feet from structures and things of that nature, but our neighboring communities are all allowing homeowners, although it's a reduced number, to have chickens. And with the recent conversations about eggs and all this good kind of stuff, we might want to rethink our position on it. Review low pass, Powhackons and Bloomsbury's issues, because there's gonna have to be some rules. And obviously roosters aren't necessarily part of it, although in Lopakon Township, they do seem to be allowing roosters.
Oh.
Yeah, however,
Rooster, I know that.
no, but I hear you, but I'm just saying, see where you wanna go on the subject matter. The egg situation's not fixing itself this month. So I just throwing that out there to y'all to have a thought about it and stuff like that.
Right now. it's
Well,
fine.
right now it's 5 acres and no chicken structure can be within 150 foot of a structure. Or a property line or anything like that. But whether you're in Wyndham Farms or even Stewart's Hunt, you're not gonna make those numbers.
Yeah.
But again, it's open for dialogue. And this last question is actually probably in Mike Lavery's wheelhouse, because I brought it up one other time. And we decided that there really wasn't much we could do about trash is considered a utility. It appears, and although some have complained before, but of late, over the last couple of months, LMR has changed some routing and it is LMR, it's not the other guys. They're picking up trash and recycling at 4:30 and 4:45 in the morning. It is not a quiet operation. Zoning, and Mike would probably, and I don't remember what book, what chapter, whatever, but our zoning pretty much doesn't allow a lot of noise pre-6 AM. It's not supposed to disturb you, and I believe the line where it is from your abode. And stuff like that. Is there anything the town can it restrict LMR to 6 AM?
I don't know if you can restrict, you can't restrict LMR, but we could probably restrict, most noise ordinances kick in before they're strict
Right.
before 7 and then from 7 to say 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So maybe what we do is send them a letter first and say, hey, it's come to our attention, and see if they do it the easy way. And then if they don't, there's certain things you can do. I'll have to take a look at your noise ordinance, because there's a noise ordinance you can have that you don't have to do decibel readings. It's just like the ones that they always said were constitutionally infirm. Well, there's a case that says you can do that. And it was, if it's annoying to you, even though it doesn't exceed the decibels on the DEP scale, it can still be a nuisance, but then you gotta have the police come out and everything else. So that's one way of doing it. But, I'm sure we have ordinances say, like, for instance, construction work can't start before 7 o'clock.
No, we
So we
do.
may
right,
be able
right,
to
yeah.
add, like, trash pickup, not just single one company out, but just say trash pickup
Right,
can't be
right.
done before 7 AM.
What truck they're using in a week.
Well,
They
they
do have 1 or 2 that are pretty noisy.
you hear them coming.
I even had a neighbor say to me, sometimes I feel like the guys are saying, if I have to be up, you have to be up too.
There are-
But there is 1 or 2 trucks that they have Cause this week they picked it up, they weren't as loud, and other weeks I could hear them really loud, so. I
Right.
think that depends what equipment they're using, but.
So, but I just wanted to bring that out, you know, particularly, I mean, the trash trucks themselves, but. You know, when they're dumping the recycling barrels, you know, you got glass and everything else that's just crashing into the back of a truck. And, I don't wanna make it sound like a large group has reached out to me, but certainly enough that it's made me bring it back around
I had a
again.
couple of these come.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one getting these questions.
One neighbor- Like I said, the one neighbor said that, he said, I feel like the guys out there, going, I gotta take a wait here.
So that's the conversation on those two items.
Okay, thanks. Okay, looking for a motion to approve blue light permits for Crystal Rush, Dane Ways, and John Jerkinson with the rescue squad, and Dylan Brady with the fire company. I'm assuming both organizations checked everything out there,
Yes.
right? Okay, so
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
What do we have to do with the acting CFO request for change in office hours? That's,
Yeah, Shannon has requested to switch her Friday evening hours, which are 5 to 9, to Saturday mornings instead. I
I
have
don't see
no,
a problem with it, or anybody
no
else.
issue with it.
Very few people
I just
come in to
always-
see you anyway, right? So,
So he's quiet. Let's bring it back to you guys.
okay, we don't have to do a motion or anything, right? You just
No, if you
Notifying
guys
us
endorse
of it.
it, I'll just
and make sure we put the change on the
website.
website.
By the way, she updated the calendar. It's 7 PM, 2 locations, but on the calendar, Cindy put in 7:30. She's been feverish for 2 weeks, so I give her a pass. I text her already, so.
I think he's on the
Thank you,
floor.
Vicky.
You know, I only checked because we changed ours, so I thought, you know what? Let's make sure they didn't change theirs, and I went there. I was like, oh, shoot, it's 7:30. That's why I came in late, because and thought I was early.
We came to be here for a presentation that was done earlier, and we missed it. Because we followed the 7:30.
Correspondence.
Somebody might have told me, and you think.
Yeah, Paul.
It's been 7 o'clock for the last 7 years. I don't know.
Ouch.
She's been all over that
Do you have
thing.
any correspondence?
No, I just have the thing from Joe, we talked about it, so, no.
I'll make a motion, we open public comment, anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody wishing to come to the podium, make any comments?
She made her comment.
The police department did receive our vehicle, replacing the one that was totaled out. So
Oh, you did get it?
yeah, so it's at the shop getting updated right now.
Okay, thanks, Rich. Okay. Seeing none others, I'll make a motion to close public comment,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to go into executive session, anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike, we're going in
That's to
for,
discuss contractual dealing with basketball courts and contractual dealing with QPA.
okay, make a motion to come out of executive session, anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike?
Yes, Mayor, we emerged from executive session at 8:23 PM. We discussed three matters. Contractual matter dealing with basketball courts, contractual matter dealing with QPA, and a contractual matter dealing with the municipal building. No official action was taken. Copies of these minutes will be available at such time as the committee determines there is no harm to the public interest.
Looking for a motion to adopt resolution 2623 appointing the QPA, anybody want to make that
I'll
motion?
make it.
Second.
You want to give, what's the full name of it? Is
Good man.
Tim
Tim Mance, okay. That's a shared service with the school, right?
That's gonna be just with him. Well, technically, he's not employed by the,
Right,
School.
we're just appointing him.
yeah, we're just appointing, yeah, so it's, yeah.
Okay, any further collective comments? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
I'll make a motion and we appoint North Star Design LLC, SGS Architects, Engineering Inc. and Whitestone Company for continued work on the municipal complex. Anybody want a second? Any other further question, comments?
That'll be
discussion?
resolution 2723.
Resolution 27, that's a motion to adopt resolution 2723 to make those appointments. Anybody okay with that?
Yeah, I say.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
What did you?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kenya?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything? Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Anybody with a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks, everyone.
Good.
Me too.